All Facebook page owners are at risk. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.Heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. I hope you've had a good weekend and are enjoying a relaxing Sunday stein of coffee. Let's have a look at this report from the ABC. It goes into a bit greater detail about a recent defamation ruling in the High Court and, well, how it can expose every Facebook page owner to potential lawsuits. And you know what's going to happen, because idiots leave comments and posts. I wonder if it'll affect YouTube as well. I bet it would. I bet it'll all be considered in the same regard. But idiots will leave comments and posts on there, with fake accounts, fake names, or trolling it, or even their real names. But they'll go over, or they'll go after, the lawyers will go after everyone. And this is just another person they can go after. Particularly if it's a business, you're running it as a business, and you've got money, and you've got insurance. That makes you the target. So this is interesting. I wonder if we'll see more of a push for people having to actually have their real identity exposed on social media. And then people will go, oh, we can't do that, then we'll be doxxed, and we'll face the consequences for saying what we really think. Yeah. That's the sad reality is. If what you really believe is so far removed from the political mainstream, then perhaps you need to start to agitate and act and become active to shift the Overton window, everyone. That's the reality of it. So, Facebook defamation ruling by the High Court exposes all page owners to lawsuits, not just the media. I'm not surprised. As much as social media has helped us to stay connected, especially for those stuck in lockdown, it has become a home for vile and questionable commentary. Has it? I guess Twitter has. I mean, here's the thing. People act... I guess you get a unrealistic representation of how people act online when you're talking about things in text. You don't have all of the other cues. It's a bit different, but then, I just find it's hard enough to even get people to discuss politics or anything at an event or a function. They're all too scared to talk about it, but they're probably valiant keyboard warriors hidden behind a fake name online. The High Court this week weighed into the issue in a way when it ruled that media companies are liable for any comments from the general public on posts they put on Facebook. The case before the High Court directly involved some of the nation's biggest media organisations, but the consequences reach far beyond Australia's newsrooms. I know there was a Facebook moderator, someone made some disparaging comments on one of her posts, and she ended up having to sell her house or pay $150,000 in a defamation settlement. So this is why, everyone, we don't have free speech here in Australia. We never did. Don't kid yourself. But this is why you need to treat these social media platforms like a professional environment. I mean, share your opinions that are, well, not mainstream, but do it in a professional and courteous way. If you're the admin of your band's Facebook page, or the local football club, or your own small business, it will matter to you too. So what has the High Court decided? News Corp and Fairfax, the latter now owned by Nine, wanted a ruling on whether they could be held liable if defamatory comments were made by the public on their Facebook posts. The issue arose after Dylan Voller, whose case of mistreatment at the Dondale Youth Detention Centre sparked a royal commission, claimed he had been defamed by comments under posts by the Australian and the Sydney Morning Herald. Whether those comments actually defamed Mr. Voller hasn't been decided yet. The High Court division put that on hold. Diversion put that on hold. So the defamation hasn't even been resolved. What's been resolved is that these guys are liable, News Corp and Fairfax. So, on my HeiseSays Facebook page, if someone makes a defamatory comments on it, I'm now liable for it. I'm not surprised. I always expected to be. But you're now, not Facebook, you're now dragged into any legal action with they'll probably sue you and the person that posted it. And often you'll find the person that posted it, doesn't have anything. A lot of them. So they'll go after the business because you've got the insurance. But the court found that the media organizations were in fact legally responsible for comments on their page, even though they played no part in drafting the remarks because they had effectively facilitated the comments being posted. Welcome to Australia. Rulings means victims can skip the trolls and pursue the page owners. Well, yeah, that's it. It's going to be easier to identify the page owner right away than the troll. You know, because that's a lot more work. It's a lot more effort. You go after the known brand or business or person. In a case that was about traditional media using online platforms, it is easy to understand how it applies to journalists. The message from the High Court is that if a company wants a presence on social media, it is also responsible for moderating the content made in response to its posts. Communications law expert Brett Walker from the Australian National University said the decision had even broader consequences. Any organisation which administers a social media account can also be liable for defamation on the same basis. For example, businesses, sporting clubs and community groups, he told the ABC. The decision gives potential plaintiffs such as Mr. Voller the choice of tracking down the anonymous person who made a specific defamatory comment and taking action against them, or going straight to the publisher, i.e. the owner of the Facebook account. There you go. So who are they going to go after? Most plaintiffs will take the second path, as identity and ability to pay are clear. That's what it comes down to. Mr. Walker argued the decision. And here's the thing. You could have people who systematically troll your platform with all these derogatory comments to cause you more work and more pain and more issues. You know, they could be doing it as a means of attacking a business or a content creator. You know, Mr. Walker argued the decision could let individuals who make harmful comments off the hook and instead put the onus on those running a Facebook page to police the content posted to it by others. For people in New South Wales, South Australia, Victoria, Queensland and the ACT, anyone threatened with a defamation lawsuit will at least have a chance to resolve the issue before it heads to court. Recent changes to defamation laws in those jurisdictions require a plaintiff to give at least 2 weeks' notice of their intention to take action. This provides publishers with an opportunity to remove the offending material quickly to limit the potential harm. Well, there you go. I mean, that's at least a sensible step in the right direction. Those changes also include a serious harm threshold to provide greater protection for comments that, while offensive, may not cause serious harm to a person's reputation. Some newsrooms preparing to be more heavy-handed moderators. Well, yeah, I can see that happening. Even though this ruling can seemingly apply to anyone in Australia, it's worth looking at the media as an example, in particular smaller news organisations such as those in regional areas. Christy Hess, Associate Professor of Communications at Deakin University, said it put much more pressure on outlets to devote precious time and energy to moderating comments online. All local news providers are strapped for resources, she said. I'd probably prefer a local newspaper to producing content than having to moderate comments. I don't know about that. I was talking to a gentleman at church today, and he loves the comments. He'll be reading the Australian, and he spends so much time just going through the comments. I think the comments is his favourite part about a lot of these articles. That will be a challenge for independent media organisations. Lachel Earl is the editor of SE Voice, an independent newspaper based in Mount Gambier in South Australia Southeast that was launched last year. She said her team of 15 staff were already hot on moderating content on its social media platforms. We're hyper aware that we live in a small community and lots of people are connected, she said. We're not frightened to be heavy-handed in moderating and will always err on the side of caution. Despite already putting it into practice, Ms. Earl said the High Court's ruling cemented her view that media outlets should be responsible for the public discourse they encouraged. What do you think, everyone? Since March, Facebook has allowed comments to be disabled on its platform. See, and this is the thing, okay? This is the real kicker. These news outlets, during the time this case happened with Voller, they couldn't disable comments. There was no mechanism in Facebook to do it. So they need to take action against Facebook now. There you go. I mean, this is messy. It really is. It really is. But Ms. Hess believes the media can take steps to improve the atmosphere on social media and lead by example without switching off comments. We do need to clean up public discourse. It has become a cesspit, she says. Well, it's not really public discourse. If you get a whole bunch of people anonymously just leaving crap everywhere, to try to that they would never say to someone in person or even in public or even in private, how is that public discourse? There's one thing as leaving a critical and perhaps hurtful comment, but doing it in a respectful and professional manner. The other one is just, all the garbage that people put out there. And I mean, I'm a YouTuber, guys. I see it all the time. Some of the shit that people post, some of the stuff people send me, in emails. And I'm thinking, I'm not going to take anything you say seriously if you send it from a fake email with no real name. Come on. There's no bravery there. So, there's a role for media to facilitate that discussion about what's acceptable. Well, see, the danger is here. The real danger is here that you can get such a shift of the open window that people will be afraid to say anything. So what do you think? What is the solution to this? Is it that we have to remove anonymity from social media? That if you're commenting, or if people are commenting, they have to provide identifying information, at the very least, to the person who they're commenting on, their page, their group. Is that what's needed? I've joined a lot of Discord servers recently, and they need your telephone number and identifying information. I made that a requirement of my Discord server to just filter out a lot of the idiots. Here, YouTube, one of the biggest issues is the bots. So what if you have bots leaving comments that are defamatory and they're not people, no one can sue them. Sure, you can maybe get the person who originally programmed them, but how do you know? You'll just go after the content creator, you go after the platform, you go after the business. We have a potential now mechanism just for radicals or activists to attack people whose political ideologies or positions they don't agree with. Yeah, this is going to be interesting how this works out. You'll just see comments being turned off. The internet isn't going to be the same as it was anymore. And in some ways, that's a real shame. What do you think, everyone? Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this one in the comments down below. Thank you all for watching. I hope you've had a great and relaxing weekend. If you want to support the channel, there's a few ways you can. You can like, share, or subscribe to the channel. You can comment on the channel. One thing you'll notice that won't work on my YouTube is links. I've turned all of those off because of the bots, guys. If I discuss anything crypto or finance, it just gets every single comment is either a spam account, a copy of my account, where they'll copy it, rename another YouTube account, and then spam it with bots that try and get people to click on links. So I've just had to turn it off. And that's, it's not defamation. Can I be held liable for someone falling to a scam on my platform? I wouldn't expect so. But anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts and opinions. If you're a fan and want to support us, there are a few ways you can. You can join us on YouTube or Patreon. Sign up for SelfWealth or Stake. Use our affiliate links at Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or AussieBroadband. Buy our merch at HeiseSays. Use Gold Pass at the Perth Mint, or support us via PayPal. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.